You're watching the History Fellow channel. In this video we're looking at the Battle of Jonesborough. By mid-July 1864, Union forces under Major General William T. Sherman were encamped outside Atlanta. Across the space of 9 days, his combined armies of the Ohio, Cumberland and Mississippi had dealt a crushing blow to Major General John Bell Hood's Army of Tennessee in 3 battles: Peachtree Creek, Atlanta, and Ezra Church. Outgunned and outnumbered, Hood, though a dogged fighter, realized he could not hold off the Union's advance any longer and took his weakened army into the defenses of the city. Having seen what heavy casualties a frontal assault against an entrenchment works could bring, Sherman was happy to settle at the north of the city and play a waiting game. For his part, Hood was content for this to happen. Believing the Union forces had overextended their supply lines and would be forced to retreat back to Chattanooga in the north sooner as a result. Through the hot month of August, both sides monitored each other for any sign of major activity. To maintain his men's morale, Sherman was keen to keep up sporadic sorties into southern lines, as well as an attack and destroy sections of the only railway link that maintained supplies, which the Confederates would then quickly repair. Sherman knew the key to the defense of Atlanta. He knew that the single railroad left running out of the city, the Macon and the Western Central Railroad, which served as Hood's lifeline for his army and for the city's inhabitants. 5 miles south of Atlanta itself, the Montgomery and West Point Railroad split from the Macon Railroad and headed southwest. The Northern press made capital of the stalemate, and it could see with Sherman and with his commanding officer, Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant, besieging Robert E. Lee's Army of the Northern Virginia in Petersburg. While Grant's forces were indeed engaged in a frustrating and lengthy siege in the west, Sherman was busy devising a plan to draw Hood out of his entrenchments to destroy him. On the morning of August 26th, the troops and civilians of Atlanta awoke to see their besiegers had vanished, with Confederate cavalry reporting to Hood only 1 Union corps remaining north of Atlanta, guarding the railroad bridge over the Chattanooga River. Hood badly misjudged Sherman's intentions. Instead of withdrawing north, Sherman had instead decided to move 7 of his 8 infantry corps, which was 70,000 men, commanded by Major Generals Howard and Thomas, in a huge flanking operation to cut that remaining rail link south of Hood's defensive lines. 2 days later, Howard and Thomas's troops reached the Montgomery Railroad and set about destroying it, catching the disbelieving Hood off guard, who convinced himself this was the only diversion from whatever main attack would come from the north. With more reports coming in of the damage being wrought by enemy troops along the only supply route, Hood was compelled on the evening of August the 30th to order Lieutenant General William J. Hardee down the railroad to Jonesborough in an attempt to secure control of the strategically vital railroad. The following 2 days would be the culmination of the drawn-out Atlanta campaign. Hardee's 2 corps of 24,000 men launched a series of assaults on the Union right flank, by now dug in over the river running along to Jonesborough. Intending to roll up the Union flank, the Confederate assaults failed to make any impact, with the situation deteriorating further as more reinforcements from Sherman reached the Macon Railroad. Further north at the town of Rough and Ready, With heavy casualties in both corps, Hardy realised he faced far more enemy troops than he could handle and was in danger of being overwhelmed himself. Though teetering on the verge of a complete rout, through careful husbandry of feeding his final reserves into the escalating battle to shore up his flanks, Hardy managed to hold on until dusk brought respite and he could order a withdrawal back towards Hood's lines. Hood could now see for himself that Sherman's main thrust was here to sever Atlanta's remaining supply link, and if taken, it would be impossible to defend, and he would have to withdraw or risk being cut off himself. On the night of September the 1st, his army slipped away from their entrenchments, leaving the single corps Sherman had left behind to the north to march unopposed into Atlanta the next day. By September the 2nd, news had reached Sherman himself. Just as the newspapers across federal states were celebrating this spectacular victory, the capture of Atlanta would be the springboard for not only Lincoln's victory in the coming elections, but also for Sherman to now take the war to the heart of the Confederacy in Georgia. If you found the information in this video informative or helpful, please feel free to give the video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I thank you very much for watching and listening, and I shall see you in the next video.